Guys, MaliciousCompliance here, and today I am back. I have a sore toe. You can't see it because I'm not on camera. Nor would I want to show you my feet because of how gross they are. But my big toe on my right foot is hurting. So let's get into some stories. Perfect segue. So first story on the list. Parent says it's not our business what her son does on the community garden. So we let him get up to his neck in shit. Literally. Oh no. Happened just a couple hours ago. This story is so fresh I can still smell it. That's one way to tell a story. On our community garden, we get teams of kids from the local school come to help, and it's often the case that they turn up on a Saturday morning as well. They're almost entirely well behaved, which is a good job as there's not a lot we can do about bad behaviour beyond a stern voice. Although one time a lad kicked one of our rabbits, so a girl brained him with a shovel. Rough but effective justice. Holy shit, how does that kid not dead? How's that kid not dead? Jeez. I love she brained him. There's this one lad who came for the first time last week. Don't know him, but we made him very welcome. He only lasted half an hour before storming off in tears after his third telling off for spinning around and around holding a tool and then letting it fly off at head height. This morning, his mum, I assume, came with him. I saw him point out my friend and me, but he didn't ask to join in, so after shouting hello, we let them be. After about 10 minutes, he started wondering, and my friend shouted to him, "Don't go around the greenhouse, mate. It's not safe around there." Well, his mum had obviously been waiting for this because she went 0 to 100 in 2 seconds flat. Debating to know, do we own this garden? And if not, what business is it of ours where her son goes? We explained we want him to be safe, and she replied that she's quite capable of taking care of that herself. Thank you. Fine. On you go. Off he went, exploring around behind the greenhouse, which is not safe because of the compost heap, which is very unstable, and the muck mound, which is a giant pile of horse manure we get delivered every autumn. By the spring, the inside is all nice and rotted down, and the outside is hard, crusty, and less strong than you think. After a minute, there was a crunch, a squeal, and I think we did very well to drag him out without saying, "I told you so," or breaking into laughter. He was absolutely black from chest high downwards, and although well-rotted manure doesn't smell really bad, it is very thick and sticky and slimy. His mum grabbed him without a word and they headed for the gate. He started bawling as soon as the surprise wore off. My friend said, "Would you like some bin bags to spread out in your car?" And to her credit, she did say thanks when he handed them over. I wonder if we'll see them again next week. To everyone saying we should have made a point of some kind, if you're mean to kids or they think you're making fun of them, they just don't come back. Kids and adults do stupid shit all the time, and you quickly get into the habit of just dusting them down and getting on with things. Don't get me wrong, we definitely laughed about it later, but how's a little knobhead like this going to learn if he doesn't come back to the allotment and get his hands dirty? He got more than his hands dirty, he got his whole body dirty, he nearly ended up fully shit covered. That's what you get with a Karen. A Karen goes off at you and you're just like, fine, but don't say we didn't warn you. And everyone walk away. Oh, jeez. Let's get him out of there. She's like, everyone, do what you do. Just be like, ah. when retail customers feel entitled to extra discounts for no reason. So you give it to them. I worked at a pretty popular department store for years, and I have to say that the customers this store breeds are the worst of the worst. This store is probably 90% of the reason that so many customers feel as entitled as they do. The cashier had the hiccups. It was incredibly annoying. Isn't there anything you can do for me? Was an honest to God complaint one lady had for me when I was a supervisor. Really? The cashier had fucking hiccups? So anyway, I was covering a breakup at the registers. I was a supervisor at the time. I had also given my 2 weeks notice. I was beyond fed up. It was like spring of my senior year, all over again. I had no more fucks left. So I'm up at the registers, and this lady, who couldn't have been more than 40, comes up with a huge cart full. Anyone who has worked retail, you know this woman. She's got the hair. She's smacking her gum at me while she talks on the phone. The entire transaction is delayed because I need her to pay, and she starts to ignore me because apparently I'm the rude one for interrupting her phone call. She proceeds to tell the person on the other end, "Give me a second," and finally turns to me and says, as if I'm an impatient child, testing a last bit of impatience, "Yes? Here's your total, ma'am. Do you have any coupons or rewards to use today?" She nodded, and here is when she drops a few clippings on the counter in front of me, ignoring my outstretched hand, and turns her attention back to the phone. As soon as I look at the coupons, I see that none of them are usable. She has one that is $10 off your menswear purchase for $50 or more. She has all women's clothing. The next coupon expired 2 months ago. Another one doesn't start for another week, etc., etc. So I try to get her attention. She is just as lovely and accommodating as the last time. She rolls her eyes and tells the person on the phone that she'll have to call him back, and gives me a sharp yes. "Sorry, ma'am. This coupon is expired. This one hasn't started, and this one is only for when you purchase $50 worth of menswear. Do you have any other coupons or rewards?" She just stares at me like I had just called her mother some unsavory name. Excuse me, what? Like, what could I do but shrug helplessly? You've got to be kidding me. That is the entire reason I came out here today, to use those coupons. I really can't use them? Unbelievable. Some customer service here. All the while she's packing her useless coupons back into her purse and glaring scorch marks into my soul. Remember I said I was done? My patience before Shopzilla here was already at 0. She tipped the scales. I was officially in the negatives. I had negative fucks and negative patience left. So when she said, "You should be ashamed of yourself being so rude to a customer," something in me snapped. I smiled sweetly at her, mustered up a bright and cheery expression that I usually reserve as my waitress face, and I said, "I'm so sorry you feel that way, ma'am. But on the bright side, since it's Tuesday, I can still apply your seniors discount, so you aren't losing. So at least you aren't losing that one, right?" I can't quite describe her expression. I think she was angry, but I think she was more shocked. And instead of that shock, she sputtered out, "I'm not a senior." I moved her shock, trying to appear horrified at my accidental faux pas, and then immediately said, "Let me take that off of there for you then," and promptly took the senior discount off, bumping her total up another 20. "I'm so sorry for the misunderstanding, ma'am." Oh boy, was she pissed. But like I said, I think she was more shocked. She seemed a little dumbfounded. She paid, she took her stuff, she left. I'll take that petty moment of satisfaction as a horrified expression to my grave. It was even worth the write-up that I did end up getting after she called the store and gave my manager a piece of her mind. That's just... She gets offended by a senior discount comment. $20 more to the price. Ooh. Ow. Okay. I'm. Guy from work tried to undermine me, but I quit a week ago. This happened only a month ago, so the memory of the incident is fresh. I got accepted to college and had to quit my job of 2 years. I put my resignation papers and had 2 months of notice period left. I informed my manager and team, but it didn't account for Mr. S, who was technically on my team but worked from the client offices overseas. So I don't get to see him ever. Background on Mr. S. He was hired as a mediator between the client and us, but had years of technical experience, so he often helped us out with the technical work, but was always a snob about it. He made sure to CC every possible manager in every mail to show that he was doing a lot more than his role was required to do. Everyone hated how commanding and rude he was. Most meetings with him were just the entire team listening to him bitch and moan for 20 minutes. He had no boundaries and would call up at odd hours of the night just to prove his point. He would promise clients certain results with unreasonable timelines without consulting the team, leading to late delivery and terrible client ratings. Since I had 2 months left to go at work, I wasn't quick to pick up responsibilities and transfer knowledge to my colleagues. I handled an important client-facing task, and I've been doing it for the 2 years I've worked here. I'd never taught it to anyone else because it was a relatively easy task, and it has been screwed up in 2 years. We get info from the client that my task was undergoing major upgrades and needed to be done extra carefully and on priority for the next week. I know the drill and get to work as usual. Mr. S calls me up on Skype to re-emphasize the importance of the task this week. I just reply to him that I've been following all protocols this week and will continue the same as usual, being careful of the upgrades. He considers my answer as unprofessional and considerate, and proceeds to tell me how I'm not that important to the team and my job was easily replaceable. He then cut the call and proceeded to reassign all my tasks for the next 2 months to someone else, while also formally emailing everybody that no new tasks were to be assigned to me. There I sat, maliciously complying, watching my teammates struggle to run my task, unable to help. I sat around doing nothing for the last 2 months of my job. Luckily, I was working from home, so that meant 2 months of paid leave. Whew! That's gonna really hurt. Ow! It's like, I quit my job, but I didn't tell this one person. This one person goes behind me and gives everyone else the job that I had. Now you've ruined the company while I get 2 months of paid leave. Okay, and we'll end off with an email check. Must check my work email every single day? Okay. So I was working for a small private ambulance company that ended up getting bought out by a larger corporation. To folks that have done this kind of work, no, it wasn't the company you're thinking of, but this new corporation wanted to be just like them. So corporate sends out a directive that all employees must check their work email at least once every 24 hours. No exceptions. Now I'm a lonely part-timer. So it would occasionally be weeks in between my shifts. The fun part is, I usually played field supervisor on my shifts I did work. So in order to be in compliance with the cooperative directive, I set my email to update every day at the same time on my phone. I would then log my 15 minutes of email checking on my paycheck, so I would be in compliance with the state and federal payroll laws. I also made sure to inform as many employees to do the same. Didn't check your email while you were on the shift because you were too busy trying to figure out what made Grandma's ambulance ride to the doctor medically necessary? That's okay, just check it when you get home. Make sure you put on your timesheet though. Timesheet though. That was a fumble of the greatest order. It took a couple pay cycles, but eventually I get a call on my day off asking why I'm logging 1.75 hours on weeks that I didn't even work. I explained that I was just following their corporate directive. I was told at that point that I was no longer was able to log those hours. I told them to give me that in writing, as that goes against labour laws. Needless to say, the directive to check email every day got revoked. Oh, but I did put down 30 minutes on my timesheet for the call, as it took 22 minutes. Just log everything. But, oh boy, timesheet. That was the most unintentional mess up I've ever done. Oh my gosh. That was like the most perfect mess up. Anyways, links will be in the description to my main channel and also this channel. And also links on the screen to the playlist and the last episode. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video comes out. A ding, a ding. I'm the mad scientist.